Today I come back to you with, I have redone a page that I especially love, that is my old page, the page how it was made before. I showed that in the previous video. I will write the link of this video in the description, no, not in the, yes, in the description box. And I have redone this page, so I'm going to show you what I've done. So here it is. I'm sorry, my camera is too low to show the two pages together. If you could see the installation I made with my camera, so you see it's not exactly the same, but it looks, it's the same kind, I would say. I made the woman like here, here, and here. I have redone this page by a very different way, but the spirit is basically the same. And here it is, as you can see. So I'm going to explain to you what I've done. I wanted to do it in front of you, but it was not possible really, because I only had the time to work on it at night, and I don't have enough light to film at night. Even today the light is not so good because it has been raining since almost 1 week now here, what is absolutely incredible in Los Angeles. But I'm going to explain to you what I've done. I made the dress by the same way I did the other one, except that it's not the same fabric, but it's also a fabric from the 70s, as I was saying before. I glued some sequins, so here, here, and no, that is a drawing, and here. These sequins are actually from the 60s to 60s, 70s, no, end of 60s. I was a child and my mother used to go to Loris Azzaro, who was a famous fashion designer in Paris, and I was waiting for her, and they were giving me to keep me busy, I suppose. They were giving me some sequins then, and I kept them because I love them. I have also a lot of beads coming from that period. Loris Azzaro used to make dresses, you know, for Tina Turner. She had a dress with a kind of beads hanging or chains hanging, so that was made by Loris Azzaro. And he had, of course, a lot of beads and sequins then in the studio, in the, I don't know how we call that, in the work, the place where they were working. And they gave me a lot to me, and I still have them from that period. So I included these sequins here. I painted above the dress because when I glued the fabric, it was hiding her hand. So I had to repaint the hand above the dress. I also had to put some white here because the glue that I used, that I'm going to show you, I used this glue to glue the fabric. I wanted to try. I don't use this glue very often, and I thought it's some fabric maybe can be useful. It was great. It glues really fast. The only problem is that the white, we could see the glue under the white. The white was not so neat. So I had to redo the white with Mitsubishi pencil Uniball Signo. I don't know if you managed to see. Yes. I used that a lot on my page. I used some watercolor here. There were areas which were not very neat, so I added some acrylics, but with water, mixed with water, so it was more watery, I would say, and it had more watercolor effect, but it was neater like that. What else? So the rest, I think that I showed that to you in the previous video. Yes, the scarf. At the beginning I wanted to do the scarf with a true fabric, But you know, I had in my mind the idea of the fabric I wanted, which I didn't have. So I actually painted it. I actually used that also here. And it reminds me the Indian scarves we had at the beginning of the 70s when I was a child. I also add some glitter. I don't know if you managed to see the glitter in her eyes, on the earring, and also on the sequin, and even here that is painted. So I used that studio glitter glue. So I found that a very long time ago, this and this, at Michael's. It was on sale, if I remember well. Michael's, or no, it was Michael's. Yes. So I don't know if you can still find it, but it's basically Studio G glitter glue, vernis paillette, vernis pailleté, acid free, and I absolutely love that. I put that everywhere. I think I have a third one, a white one, but I absolutely love that. And then I made here a drawing with I'm going to show you what I used here. The red one is something that I never showed you, but I don't think that I showed you that. I love that. These ones. Yes, I showed that already. Trombo ABT. You see, it's like a brush. It's like some ink. Yeah, and here you have a thinner one. I absolutely love these things. I had a pink one. I used it so much that it's not working anymore, but I have so many colors. And here I used some paint, but here it was that. So on this side it's much more texture. I'm going to push this one. Okay. Yes, we managed to see everything. Okay. On this one, a lot of textures. So this here I used that is some watercolor here and some white pen. You see the little doodling here? It's this one. This is some fabric. This is some purple acrylic. This, it's that. So you can peel it off and it glues. The only problem is that on the acrylic it was not gluing really well. It was not staying. So I used the tacky glue by Almond to glue it again because it was not staying on it. I like that. So same thing. This, I think that I bought that at Michael's a very long time ago, and it was on sale too, and I have no idea what is the brand or anything, but I really like it. You can probably find things like that, you know, like sticker but like ribbon. Some vintage fabric, some vintage fabrics, the same, that is vintage and this is vintage too. Here it is some glitter that I used, that I showed you, the pink one. This is some Indian silk fabric from the 70s. These pieces, this and this, was coming from an old Indian cushion cover which completely was burnt. I washed it too hot and the fabric was completely burnt, but I kept all the embroideries to use them in my collages, so that's why I had these pieces. So this is a leaf probably coming from, can you see it? Yes, here. Probably coming from Christmas ornament. I found it in the streets on the sidewalk, so I kept it and I glued it here. This is a paper coming from, it was wrapping a soap, and I kept the paper because I really loved it. This is some washi tape, the polka dots, and I used this glitter here and here. So the shape here is because the paper that I cut here was cut with a special scissors to give this shape. So this is some Trader Joe bag I painted on it, and I made stencils, and that was a remnant that I had. Here, I will start here because it's very complicated. Same thing, vintage fabric with glitter. This is just some white paint and some the red thing, Trombo art that I showed you. I use simply that here, you know, to make the polka dots, because on the other page there were polka dots too. Yes, you see here it was a fabric, but I didn't have this fabric anymore, so I simply painted in white and made the polka dots myself. Here I wrote UK, question mark, crap. I'm not saying that UK is crap, of course, as you can imagine. I love UK, I love United Kingdom. I wrote the first thing which came to my mind is that UK, question mark, it means will I live in UK one day? And I wrote crap because of the Brexit. So it's not UK which is crap, it's the Brexit which is crap. For me at least. I think that a lot of people are very happy, but not me. I wrote here Yael Bolender at the freak show country. I wrote that because I live in a neighborhood in Los Angeles which is a true freak show. I made a little doodling here, stars and circles, because it was like that on the other page, and it was a business card, but I wanted to draw it. I drew the face, which looks a little like the business card that I had here. But this was drawn by Missia Rêve, and I wanted to draw it by my own way. So this is some acrylic. I made the skin with the acrylic. I used a red, vermilion red simply with white, and this was just some very watery acrylic for the cheeks. And there is some glitter on the eyes too. The white is the pen that I showed you, with a black pen that I use, which is waterproof. And this is some wrapping paper which represents roses. I cut it, I glued it, and I put some black pen all around. I will show you my black pen because I'm talking about it and you don't know which one it is, but I already showed it in my previous videos. Yes, it's this one. So it's this black pen that I used, Uniball Vision Fine Waterproof. So Uniball. And this is not some fabric. It looks like some fabric, but I used marker to do that. That was a tag which was falling down. I kept the paper because I love the paper, and I glued it here. It was a decanter shaped like a Greek god, white, and the sticker was underneath, and it fell, and I kept the paper. This is a very small piece of ribbon that I had. Underneath it's some acrylic. Here there is some purple acrylic, and I glued a kind of Chinese paper above, but as the Chinese paper was almost transparent, we can see the purple underneath. This is, you know, how we call that, a kind of dolly under small chocolates that I kept, and I glued it, and I put some glitter, this glitter on it. And this is again a piece of the cushion, a piece that I kept. I really like the texture. It's some embroideries. I love that. And that was wrapping another soap paper that I had. And this is a very vintage fabric, even not from the 60s, but from the 50s that I have. But it's just a small piece. And here I put some glitter on the letters, the glitter that I showed you, and this was on one of the fruits that I ate. So basically that's what I did. So I went from very 60s psychedelic to more 70s peace and love Indian hippie style, I would say. But you know, I didn't think, I just did. I worked with the page of the other journal open like a guide, but in the end I did how I was feeling it, and I think that the page is really very complete now. I don't want to add more, or it would be too much. I don't know if you managed to see, but there are very thin lines in silver. It's something that I use very often. I will show you. It's that. It's Jelly Roll Sakura. I like them. I didn't want the lines to be too harsh. I wanted them to be discreet, but still there. And you know, this round thing hanging all around, it reminds me this thing that we had in the 60s, 70s. It's like, it's not shells, but I don't know, it's made of mother of pearl, round thing hanging, and when the wind comes in them, it makes a nice noise. I have some here still. I love these things because it's very discreet. We don't see them, but as soon as the wind is coming, it makes this wonderful sound, and it reminds me a little of that. That's why I wanted to do that. But you see how we can get inspired of a page that we originally loved and redo it by the same way, but in the same time by a very different way, because now it's really really very different. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Oh yes, I was going to forget. I'm going to, yes, I did that. Why? Because I want to attach this here, because the balls reminds me of that. So it's like yeah, it's like a reminder of the balls, but to hang on my page. I don't know if you need to see what I'm doing. Okay, and here I'm going to put that here, and here I must cut that. So I wanted to add some wool because there was some wool on the other page, and it reminds me when my mother and I, we were and my nanny, we were crocheting a lot. I hope that I didn't cut it too short. No, it should be fine. Like that, just to avoid them to fall down. Maybe one more. There is a storm, it's raining all the time. I don't know what is happening. I have the feeling to be in Paris. It's raining all the time, non-stop. It's raining so hard I can't even get out of my house. There is nobody in the street because people in Los Angeles have no idea how to behave under the rain, you know. That's really, oh, I think I can't do it anymore, but it will stay, yeah, it will stay, definitely stay. But you see, that's very cute. Oh, these things, I have that since I'm a child, but you can find this thing. It's for, if you go in a store which sells things for parties or things like that, they are selling that. It's like, I don't know, it's made of paper, beads of paper. Or you can use true beads, I don't know. But I like the fact that it's light. It's light like that. And the colors are very 60, 70 style. I like that. Okay, this time I'm going to leave you. I will come back very soon. I have many ideas of things that I want to do. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.